In a world filled with division, conflict, and confusion, one man emerged more than 1,400 years ago with a message of peace, unity, compassion, and hope. His name was Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, a man whose life and teachings continue to inspire over 1.9 billion people around the globe. He wasn't a king, he wasn't rich, nor did he seek power for himself. Yet, through his character, leadership, and mercy, he changed the course of human history forever. This is not just the story of a religious figure. This is the story of a man who walked humbly among his people, wept for the suffering of others, and stood firmly for justice, even when he stood alone. From the deserts of Arabia to the hearts of millions across continents, this is the life of Prophet Muhammad, a life of compassion and leadership that changed the world forever. Early life. Muhammad was born in the city of Mecca in the year 570 CE into the respected tribe of Quraysh. Orphaned at a young age, he never knew the comfort of a father's arms or the gentle embrace of a mother. Raised first by his grandfather and then his uncle, young Muhammad grew up surrounded by hardship, but those trials shaped him, not into bitterness, but into kindness and strength. Even before prophethood, he was known among his people as Al-Amin, the trustworthy. He was honest in business, gentle with the weak, and fair in judgment. At a time when society was deeply rooted in tribalism and injustice, Muhammad stood out as a man of integrity. He didn't just speak the truth, he lived it. He would often retreat to the cave of Hira, seeking solitude and reflection, questioning the world around him. He saw the idols, the oppression, the neglect of the poor, and the abuse of women, and he longed for something more. Revelation and call to prophethood. At the age of 40, everything changed. While meditating in the cave, the angel Gabriel appeared to him with a command that would forever shift the course of humanity. Read. It was the beginning of the revelation of the Qur'an, the final message to mankind. Muhammad was terrified, unsure of what had just happened. But his beloved wife Khadijah comforted him, supported him, and reassured him that God would never abandon a man like him, one who cared for the orphan, fed the hungry, and helped the downtrodden. And so began the mission. Quietly at first, sharing the message with close friends and family. Then publicly with the call to worship one God, to abandon idols, to free the slaves, to honor women, to uplift the poor, and to establish justice. The message was revolutionary. And those in power were threatened. Persecution and patience. As Muhammad's following grew, so did the opposition. The elites of Mecca mocked him, tortured his followers, and tried to bribe him with wealth and power to abandon his mission. But he stood firm. He never raised a sword in revenge. He didn't respond to hate with hate. Instead, he responded with patience, forgiveness, and unshakable faith in the one who sent him. His companions were dragged through the streets, starved, imprisoned, and killed. But the prophet remained strong, comforting them, guiding them, and praying for those who hurt them. When his beloved wife Khadijah and his uncle Abu Talib passed away, he was heartbroken. And when he traveled to the city of Taif to seek refuge and was met with stones and insults, he didn't curse them. Instead, he prayed, "O Allah, guide my people, for they do not know." His compassion had no limits. The migration to Medina. Eventually, when the persecution became unbearable, Muhammad was guided to leave Mecca and migrate to Yathrib, later known as Medina. This migration, known as the Hijra, marked a new chapter. In Medina, he wasn't just a prophet. He became a statesman, a leader, a peacemaker. He united the divided tribes, signed treaties with the Jews and Christians, and established a constitution that ensured religious freedom and justice for all. He taught his followers to respect their neighbors, protect the rights of women, and treat even prisoners of war with kindness. He led by example, sweeping his own floor, mending his own clothes, and playing with children in the streets. He ruled not with an iron fist, but with humility and mercy. People who once hated him became his strongest allies simply by witnessing the beauty of his character. Mercy and victory. After years of exile, betrayal, and battles forced upon him, the prophet returned to Mecca not as a conqueror but as a forgiving leader. The very city that had rejected him, insulted him, and fought him now stood before him powerless. But instead of revenge, he offered peace. Standing at the Kaaba, he declared, "Today there is no blame upon you. You are all free. No vengeance. No punishment. Just mercy." His enemies wept. Some embraced Islam on the spot. Others simply stood in awe of his forgiveness. This moment, more than any military victory, showed the true power of his leadership. For it is easy to destroy. It is harder to forgive. His personal character. What made Prophet Muhammad truly remarkable was not just what he preached, but how he lived. He smiled often. He never raised his voice in anger. He never turned away a beggar. He shared what little food he had. He listened more than he spoke. He showed compassion to animals, advised fairness in trade, and emphasized cleanliness, education, and prayer. With children, he was gentle and playful. With women, he was respectful and protective. With the poor, he sat beside them and ate from the same plate. He taught that the best of you are those who are best to their families. And he lived that teaching every single day. He mourned the loss of his children, cried for his companions, and stayed up in the night praying for his nation, his ummah. That includes you. Me. All of us. He once said, "I wish I could meet my brothers." When asked, "Aren't we your brothers?" he replied, "You are my companions. My brothers are those who will believe in me without ever having seen me." He was talking about us. Legacy and impact. The Prophet Muhammad passed away at the age of 63 in the arms of his beloved wife Aisha, with his final words being, "O Allah, be with the highest companion." But his message didn't die with him. It grew. Across deserts, mountains, continents, and oceans, his teachings traveled not by force, but by love, trade, example, and faith. Today, over a quarter of the world reveres his name. His sayings, known as hadith, are quoted in universities, homes, and gatherings. His life is studied in depth. His character is emulated. His mission continues. He changed the way people think about justice, mercy, and leadership. He uplifted women, honored knowledge, protected the weak, and reminded us that this life is just a bridge to the next. Outro. So who was Muhammad? He was an orphan, a shepherd, a merchant, a husband, a father, a leader, and the final messenger of God. A man who lived with purpose, led with humility, and loved without limits. Whether you are Muslim or not, his life offers a timeless blueprint for how to be human in a world that desperately needs compassion and guidance. This is the legacy of a man who walked the earth over 1,400 years ago, but whose light continues to shine in every corner of the world. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, a life of compassion, a beacon of hope, and a leadership that changed the world forever.